evaluating the fatigue in that moment. And if you can make it not quite as bad, maybe you're catastrophizing it. Maybe you're making it seem worse than it really is. That might be a way to intervene on the habituated thought patterns that are making you go get that donut.
Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode number 3 in my series on how to decrease the gap between intention and behavior when it comes to weight loss, fitness, and health. Welcome, everybody. I am Judy Terrell. I am a nationally board certified health coach. I am in a PhD program for doctorate in lifestyle medicine, and my focus and my passion is, and my PhD dissertation is about the gap between intention and behavior when it comes to weight loss. And that's what this series is about. I'm going to explain what the intention behavior gap is real briefly because this is episode number 3. And then I'm going to talk about the third factor of 6 that I'm presenting that gets in the way of those and then gets in the way of you actually achieving your goals, weight loss, increased health, fitness, whatever they are, okay? Intention behavior gap. What is that, okay? This is what it is to you. I know what I need to do, Judy. I hear this from clients all the time. And yet I can't seem to get myself to do it, the behaviors that are going to get me to this goal of weight loss. And there's something wrong with me. I need to, that's what I know what to do. I just can't get myself to do it. That is what I hear. That's an illustration of intention behavior gap, okay? And what intention behavior gap is in the science is having the intention to do certain behaviors to get to a goal, weight loss, fitness, better sleep, decrease A1C on a blood draw, whatever it is, and what you're going to get from those things: feeling better, looking better, feeling good, more energetic, all those great payoffs. You have an intention, and yet executing the behaviors becomes difficult or inconsistent. And what are the things that are in between those two? Like, what are factors that are causing the disconnect between the intention and then execution of the behaviors? All right. And this gap is filled with a multitude of different factors. It's a complex matrix. It's not just one thing. It's not the same thing for one person. There's differences from a cultural perspective, from an ethnic perspective, from an environmental perspective, from a, internal self-talk, all sorts of factors, self-efficacy, the belief of whether you think you can do it, what you've done in the past, like tons of factors. But in this series, I'm identifying 6 that tend to be the most powerful ones that are causing a problem, the gap, and then what you can do about them, okay? So there you go. This is episode number 3. And in this episode, I'm talking about habits, okay? The formation of habits. So, in weight loss in particular, we are coming to our intention. We have the intention of wanting to lose weight. But we have a whole like toolbox of habits that we have been doing that have caused us to gain weight, right? And these habits are they almost seem like they're hardwired into your DNA, but they're not. They've been repeated over and over again. And these habits are not the ones that you need, the behaviors that you need to get the weight loss that you're after, all right? So we have habit patterns that we have been living into, that we've been, they started long ago. And the ones I'm talking about are ones that have been around for quite a while. So they've got a lot of repetition behind them. And for example, in the weight loss, it might be, I'm going out to lunch and I brought my lunch with me, but or didn't bring my lunch with me, let's just say that. And I know I want to try and lose weight, so I don't want to go to fast food, but you're getting your car, and as you're, thinking about different places to go, you're already driving into the McDonald's drive-thru. And you're like, oh my God, I'm like, because that's a habit pattern. You're not like, you're kind of thinking about it. You're kind of aware that you're doing it, but it's running you. It's like, it is like the brain and all the many, many times that you've done it is like now your consciousness is even there. Like it's there, you're aware of it, but your ability to intervene on it is very low. Okay. Kind of similar when you get in the car and you're, on the weekend, and then you say to yourself, oh my God, I'm driving to work. Why am I driving to work? Because you were thinking about other things, whatever. And then before you know it, you realize that you missed the exit to go into the shopping mall because you're on autopilot going to work. Like that's a habit, an example of how we get into habit patterns and how they can run us without our even awareness, or you might even be semi-aware, but you're still doing it and oh my God, what am I doing, right? So when it comes to weight loss, you have the intention of losing weight, and then there's a set of behaviors that you get a plan that you're going to do. You have someone to design a program for you. You're following something online that you're going to follow, and then as you're attempting to do that, you recognize that you're not doing the behaviors, but upon analysis, one of the main factors that will have this happen and create a bigger gap than like for some people versus others, or than you want it to be, a small gap between the intention and the behavior, is that you're falling into just repetitive habit patterns. And these are habit patterns of behaviors, but also habit patterns of thinking, So the way the thinking habit patterns that have already been, they've already been formulated, a thinking habit pattern might be, you're coming home, it's 5 o'clock on a Friday, and you're tired, it's been a long week, and in your mind you're saying, God, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm going to have to pull out the vegetables. I'm going to have to like cook, I got to get the pots and pans out. I have all the food there. I prepared, I went shopping and got the ingredients. I know what I need to do to stay on my plan, the behavior. But the habit pattern of thinking that's running right now is, I'm really tired this week, like this has been a really bad week. This week, tonight, you know what? Tonight, I'm just going to abort it. I'm going to order pizza and wings because this has been such a rough week. And I'm going to, next week, I'll follow the plan. That, my friends, is a habituated habit pattern of thinking.
Your Second 50 Life is my virtual platform that is designed for both men and women over 50 and 60, 70, and 80. And it includes pre-recorded video information on exercise and how to do it, whether you're fit and in good health, or if you have bad knees, bad shoulders, a bad back, whatever. It includes information on how to eat for weight management and how to eat for health management. It includes information on the psychology of aging and what do we need to do in our heads, because let's face it, this aging thing is not for the faint of heart. So your Second 50 Life is a virtual platform of resources that you can access at your own leisure, but it also includes 2 times a month live video coaching with me so that you can bring your own individual questions and get individual coaching, as well as have access to all the information on the pre-recorded videos. So please check it out, because we're all in this together and we got this.
Okay. It was already in play when you got in the car after you left the office or finished putting up your computer if you're home working from home. And that, like identifying that you're tired, identifying it's a Friday, identifying that, you want to have some pleasure, like that habit pattern of thinking is in play. Okay. That's going to result in a behavior of, ordering in, getting food delivered, and not following the habit pattern of putting together the meal that you had intended to do in the morning. Okay. Those are just a couple examples of how habit patterns of thinking lead to going off the behavior that you intended to do. And the first thing is kind of recognizing, you have to recognize that we all have these patterned habits of thinking in our brain body that then lead to habit patterns of behaviors. Because if you're trying to just intervene on the behavior and not recognizing that there was a whole habit pattern of thoughts that already led to that behavioral, that you're going to do or not do, then you're going to get caught every time. So this is episode number 3. What is a very significant factor that factors into the gap between having the intention of losing weight and following this particular meal plan, and then the behavior of, ordering food in on a Friday night when you're really tired, is that the factor that's in the middle that's causing that gap between not doing that and the behavior and the intention, the behavior being the same, no gap, is habit patterns of thinking, okay? And so the first step in this, trying to get some sort of, separate, making the gap go from here to here, is recognizing I've got thought patterns that are going to generate these behaviors that are going to lead me off the plan. And I've got to identify them. I've got to increase my awareness, not just of the behavior, but of what thought patterns do I run over and over again. Every week on Friday, I think this, or every day at, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when I got a couple more hours to go, I've got a thought pattern like, oh my God, this day is dragging. Like, I'm so tired. I need some energy. And then walking into the shared food kitchen and then, falling victim to the donuts that someone brought in. You didn't bring them in, that was an environmental influence. But what I'm highlighting here is that there was a habit pattern of thinking that led you to fall victim to that and then create the dissonance or the discrepancy between the intention and the behavior. All right. So recognizing that we have thought habit patterns that are and then trying to do a little work. So how do we have an effect on these? How do we minimize this from, taking us off our program? Is to take some quiet time on a weekend maybe, or in the evening after dinner when you've got some time to yourself, and actually saying, okay, where are my slipping points repetitively? Like, it's the 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 to 4 o'clock is a big one. After dinner, got on the way home, after dinner, between dinner and going to bed, like, those are all eating ones. Like, there's habit patterns of thought that will lead you into behavior, even though your intention was to not on this night, right? So, okay, these are my trigger times, and my trigger behaviors are to go into the M&Ms, to go into the pantry and get cheese and, the refrigerator, get cheese and crackers, or, whatever, to have a drink, 2 glasses of wine, even though you're intended to not, it's consumption things. All right, I can identify these patterns and the behaviors that are not the behaviors I'm trying to do. And now, my friend, what you need to do is go into those behaviors and say, okay, what are the thought patterns that I can put myself back in that position right now, even though I'm not there, and remembering them, and try to identify what are my habituated thought patterns that are now leading to that behavior. And now you got your finger on the pulse of what you need to do, how you need to intervene to have a different thought pattern that will now help you to do a different behavior. All right. So, for instance, the 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm tired. It's the middle of the afternoon. I have several more hours to go. My brain, I got a headache. Like, I need something to pick me up. Oh, yes, I do. But does it have to be food? Like, I do need a pickup. This is my vulnerable spot. I'm not walking in that kitchen. Why don't I go outside? I'm going to, sit on the picnic table outside on the patio of my work building, or in my house if I'm working from home. And I'm just going to, maybe get a drink of water, or, maybe I'm going to have a nice refreshing, iced tea or something. And I'm going to just relax for 5 minutes and breathe, give my head a break, rejuvenate my brain battery for going back to work for a couple more hours, get some fresh air, and then go back to my desk. Because I recognize I have this habit pattern of needing energy to continue with the work. And if I don't, that's going to happen every time. Can I come up with an alternative so I'm not going to walk into that, kitchen? Because I'm not hungry now. I don't need to eat for hunger. I just had lunch. But you see what I'm doing? I'm kind of walking you through a process we've identified the trigger time and the behavior going into the shared food room at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in a workday. We've identified the thought pattern now that was going to lead you into that behavior and of having the donut. And now we've identified, oh yeah, what's another alternative I can do that is addressing that habituated thought pattern, but giving me another option. That's one way to intervene. And the second way to intervene is to reframe it. Yes, okay, I'm feeling tired. I've had, a lot of, my brain has been focused in on my work up until that time. It is like the battery power of that has really gone low. But let me just think about this for a second. That doesn't mean I have to eat a donut, right? Can I get through this and then get home and then have my dinner? What can I do something else, to rather than walk in for the food, but basically reframing, am I that tired, that I need to go off my plan and now eat something that in the long run is going to help block my weight loss and then keep extra weight on my body, which is also making me tired, carrying this all around with me day after day, minute by minute, hour after hour. So in this instance, saying you're reframing, are you that tired? That habituated thinking of, oh my God, I'm so tired. I need some energy. I need a donut, or I need some sugar, or I need some caffeine, or whatever. To, all right, I'm tired. Yes. But am I that tired? Can I just take a breath and kind of say, all right, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm tired. I'm all right. I'm a 6. I'm not a 10. Can I maybe get through this? Just take it a little slower, kind of slow down the pace of which I'm going to try and address all the things. Maybe I'm going to say, I'm not going to get 2 of these things done by the end of the day. I'm going to get these 2 done, but not these 2 done, so that you're not feeling so overwhelmed. And that's making you feel not quite so fatigued because you're not feeling overwhelmed and fatigued by the rest of the work you have to do. So basically, I'm giving you some examples that may or may not hit your mark for what you need to say to yourself. But basically, the concept that I'm relaying is you need to reframe how you are evaluating the fatigue in that moment. And if you can make it not quite as bad, maybe you're catastrophizing it. Maybe you're making it seem worse than it really is. That might be a way to intervene on the habituated thought patterns that are making you go get that donut. So 2 ways to address this. After you've identified the trigger time, the trigger behavior, and then what are the habituated thoughts that are leading to it, how can you align those how can you intervene on the thoughts? One is look at the thoughts you're having that are making you fall into that behavior and reframe them, minimizing the intensity of them or the catastrophizing of them or the state that they put you in by changing the thought patterns you're having. And that itself could then make you not do the behavior of going to the shared food room. Or secondly, say, okay, here's these repetitive thoughts again. They lead me into this behavior. What's an alternative that I can do to address these thoughts that are not consumption and keep me on my intention, my plan? So minimizing that gap. Okay? So I hope that you're taking, think about this for a little bit, how the intervention I'm giving you here is the third prominent factor of the gap between intention and doing the behaviors that will keep you to your goal is habituated thought patterns that are generating a behavior that's not on your plan. Increase your awareness of those at critical times when you're repetitively going off the plan, and then either reframe the thought patterns so they're not feeling so overwhelming to you that you have to go into a behavior you don't want to do, or identify that thought, that habituated thought, and then come up with another way to address whatever that thought pattern is making you feel. Fatigue, tired, overwhelmed, whatever, right? All right, so this is the third in my 6-part series on the main factors that make a big gap between your intention and your behavior when it comes to weight loss. If you like this, if you've got some insights into it, please hit like, please hit subscribe, go to my website, go to my platform, yoursecond50.life, connections below, because I have a lot of resources that might be helpful to you. And I would love to be able to help you even more. All right, buddy, I hope to see you soon on the next video. There's 3 more in the series, and yeah, see you there. And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.